If you haven't tuned in to cheer for Team USA, I think it's time, because the 2016 Olympic Games in Rio are in full swing, and today our good Dr. Matt Eisman is here. We're talking really about trying to keep that playing field even amongst all the different countries that are out there. I know, right?
So hard to do.
Oh, my God.
So, all right, so I guess the real subject is this. The question is, are Olympic athletes born, or are they made?
That's one of the classic arguments, this nature versus nurture thing. And it's one of the great, when you look at some of the competitors, there was a guy on the breaststroke who was 5'11", a guy competing against these 6-foot-tall athletes, 6'6", 6'8", who are genetically seeming to be perfectly suited to this. But hard work can pay off. Look, it's a blend. You have to have some genetic gifts, but you have to work so hard to excel at that highest level.
Yeah, I mean, you can be born with the talent, and no pun intended, but if you don't have the heart,
it's not enough. A gift is not enough. You have to work hard.
Well, but you could also have extra oxygen in your blood, because there's this guy in the 60s. His name was Iro Mantiranta, excuse me. He won 7 medals for cross-country skiing. Here he is.
Yeah.
They couldn't figure it out.
Amazing
They tested
story.
him. He had a genetic mutation.
So this guy, they didn't know. They didn't find this out until the 90s when they figured out he had this condition, primary familial congenital polycythemia. Essentially what it is he had a mutation that caused him to have his erythropoietin, which is a substance we've heard about, EPO, the blood doping in the Tour de France, cycling.
Yeah.
So essentially, his system wasn't responding quite well to the EPO, so he had supernormal levels of it. So he had this incredible level of red blood cells. His oxygen capacity was essentially 50% greater than what would be normally expected. So he's competing with like an invisible, weightless oxygen tank, just pumping him air while he's doing a cardio-intensive sport.
Wow.
No, I can't. Yeah.
I walk from like craft service over here, and I'm like, I know.
All right, so there are so many things that first was steroids, and then there's blood doping, and now the gene doping.
So this is what's so fascinating is anytime there's medical technology, people are going to find a way to use it for, I won't say nefarious gains, but to unlock their potential. And so gene therapy is an unbelievable breakthrough. Essentially what you're doing is you're taking viral vectors. Viruses, the way they work is they commandeer your DNA system. They insert their own DNA into your DNA to have it reproduced. So what doctors figured out is if we take a piece of DNA that someone may need medically, we can have this virus inserted in there. So a great case is severe combined immunodeficiency, bubble boy syndrome. Children born without an immune system, they lack a certain amino acid. Doctors have cured them by using this targeted gene therapy to insert the DNA that allows them now to produce the amino acid that they didn't have, so they have an immune system. It can cure them. Now, what athletes are starting to do is we call it gene doping. So essentially, gene therapy is if you take someone sick and make them well. Gene doping is if you take someone well and make them bionic. And so it would be what they're essentially trying to do is what Iro, our friend, where they're trying to figure out how can we turn on their erythropoietin to give them more red blood cells? How can we make people recover faster?
But how is that any different than blood doping or steroids?
Well, this is the next level. It's just the technology. The difference is with blood doping, with steroids, those are things that are temporary. So eventually the steroids will wear off. You can get a boost in them for a week to a couple months. Eventually you cycle off of them, you lose the benefit. With this gene therapy, you're permanently modifying the DNA.
All right,
so you're forever bionic.
Okay.
Can it be caught? Can you, or is that like, oh, that was
So this is the thing. The World Anti-Doping Association, WADA, the group, in Australia, there's one place in the country, or in the world, that has figured out a way to try to test for it. And essentially what they're doing is either looking for abnormal levels of the erythropoietin, which is the one they're assuming, or you look for the telltale traces of the viral vectors to show that this person has had some modification going on. It's very advanced. It's not always 100%. And that's what we see is, we just saw this happen with the Russian team, where they tested clean in London. They went back and retested the samples from London and Beijing, found a lot of people who, with these advanced tests, they figured out these people were cheating. That's why the Russian track and field team was banned.
Well, I think anybody who's won American Ninja Warrior should be checked, because
right?
I mean, they are beyond
superhuman.
human.
Yeah, that's true.
But are there health risks involved? in this?
Absolutely. Here's the thing: is again, steroids, lots of risks.
Yes.
They've been tested over decades. The side effects have been minimized. But when we're talking about permanently altering your DNA, we don't know if you may have some side effect where you think of essentially you're turning genes on. You might. Cancer is essentially the unregulated growth of cells.
Right.
That's the concern, is that you're starting to manipulate these genes in ways we don't understand. We don't know the side effects. But studies have shown, when they talk to Olympic athletes, that if they were told, you can take a drug that will guarantee a gold medal, but in 5 years you'll die, 50% of them said they would take that drug.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
No.
So they are willing to get the edge.
No.
All right.
Pick traits like they want more.
Well, that's
cardiovascularity
essentially
or like leg strength or something like that.
that's what they're looking at. We don't know. Look, I'll be honest. My guess is if it can be done, people are probably doing it.
Sure.
Would you have tried it when you were in your athletic days?
Look, it would have had to be a very strong gene to get me to that level. So for me, the decision was a little clear. But like we said, if you're looking at the chance to win a gold medal, the financial compensation that could be there, I wouldn't judge people for doing this.